Wawa.
Oh boy.
My podcast. I'm in a weird, wacky mood. I've lost my will to go on today, so all bets are off.
Oh no, is this gonna be like a crazy episode or something?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
you better
geez.
get ready.
Oh boy. Oh, I'm not even ready.
Yeah,
I don't have my jacket
I was
on.
wondering. I couldn't figure it out. You looked like you were lacking something, and I couldn't put my finger on it.
I had no style.
How dare you? How dare you come on this podcast inappropriately dressed?
I'm sorry. I won't do it again.
What were you thinking?
I probably will do it again, but not on
You probably
purpose.
will. But, what they say is the first time, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, you're off the podcast. That's what they say.
That's what they say.
Oh, jeez. Have you ever noticed? Wait, I guess you do kind of use a dual monitor setup, right? You have your Mac plugged in to the display you use, or do you use the Mac closed?
Right now it's closed. Sometimes I use it open, sometimes closed.
So when you ever do a dual monitor setup, do you notice that when you open QuickTime Player or certain applications, even if you click it in your second monitor, it'll open in your primary one?
Oh yeah.
I opened QuickTime Player, which opened because you open QuickTime and it gives you the open folder, right? That little
which is annoying
window in the center, which is stupid and is not what I want. But fine,
right.
whatever.
Never.
So that opens up in the second monitor. I click File, New Audio Recording. The audio recording opens in my primary monitor and moves me out of Chrome.
That is really dumb.
And the audio recording window is this big. It's tiny. Why does that need? I don't get it.
It's classic Apple. They're trying to be helpful and they go too far in the opposite direction.
Yeah. That's so true. We should talk about that in the show because I'm worried about that in regards to the headset.
Ooh, very interesting discussion. Before we start, I have to show this. My new wallet.
Oh, you got it.
I did get it.
Oh my God. I love that.
Dude, I literally ordered this while we were in Italy and it took over a month to get here, but I love this thing so much.
Holy cow.
It's so cute. I know Sam got one too, which is super awesome, but you
can't really put that much in it because it's going to get
But here's the thing. I had before it was my MagSafe wallet that had 2 cards in it. And that's all I really need. So I just have 2 cards in this thing, but I don't know. Every time I look at it, it makes me smile.
I carry 6 cards in my wallet. Why? Because I don't want my wallet to look too empty. I'm pretty sure one of them is an expired debit card.
No, the 2 card life, I got my driver's license and I have 1 credit card, and that's all I need.
Damn. I'm definitely doing too much because what I have. All right. Well, I carry 3 credit cards because I have the Apple card, obviously. I have my Chase Sapphire Reserve card, which I use for pretty much everything. And then I have my United Club card that I misspelled my last name on.
How'd you spell it?
Misney. I forgot that I put an S instead of the A.
How did you?
And they still gave me the card, dude. I don't know. I didn't think that you could do that.
They're next to each other. Well, they are exactly.
Okay. I was doing it quickly.
That's kind of dumb that they gave it to you, though.
I know.
Shouldn't it be linked to your account?
It is. It's linked to an account with the Chase Sapphire card. It's the same thing. It's all Chase.
Luke Misney.
And do they not credit check? Okay. Admittedly, I'm not familiar with the details of giving out credit cards, but if you give somebody a card that is not under their actual name, that's bad, right?
Wait,
Like you can't. Can
it's
I
a
just put
credit
like?
card?
Yeah.
I thought it was like a little like pass for your like club,
Oh
your
no, no,
whatever.
no.
It's a credit card.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's kind of
It's
bad.
like the American Airlines card that you have.
Oh, well, that's bad. Honestly, though, just rack up a ton of debt on it, and then you'd be like, "Who's Luke Misney?
Yeah,
My
I'm like,
card was
that's not
stolen. This
me.
isn't me."
You sent this like massive fine to a guy that doesn't exist. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
That guy
exactly.
must have lived
See?
here before me. It's a crazy coincidence.
Yeah, there you go. Then you're free.
This is the birth of my like scammer alter ego.
Luke Misney, the scammer
Yeah.
alter ego.
Mm-hmm. No one would figure it out.
No one, Miani, Misney. It just they don't even sound. I mean, they're a little similar, but like I feel like they're different enough that people wouldn't, you wouldn't think.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't pick that out. I mean,
Yeah.
Miani obviously is an Italian name. Misny, that's not Italian. That's
It's like
what is that? Like
Disney.
Swedish?
Oh yeah. Oh, Luke, that's German, but it could be
Yeah,
German.
what in the
Luke,
hell?
do a Swedish accent.
How does what does a Swedish accent sound like?
Swedish, I don't know.
Oh yeah, the meatballs. No, that's still German. Okay,
Yeah,
wait. What is this Swedish accent? I'm looking this up on YouTube. How
I
do
feel like
you
it's
sound?
probably vaguely German.
The Swedish accent is quite unique because it has a rare pitch accent. These just kind of sound. It just kind of sounds like the Family Guy, like guys who have lived in the U.S. for just long enough, but they don't sound American.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, friend.
There you go. There's your Swedish accent.
Yeah, no. Well,
We love
we
Swedish
tried.
people here, by the way. Just to be clear.
As a Swede myself, my alter ego. Great meatballs, great furniture. Although, quick tip: if they're listening, please assemble it before, like, it's like a big old pile of stuff. That's tricky.
That's true. That's gonna be a problem for us in about a week.
Oh God. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we
Should we
need to
start
go
the-
into the details. I think
Should we
maybe
start
we
the
can
show?
get started. Let's
Yeah.
get
Let's
this
start the
going.
show.
Yeah.
Welcome to Dark Mode, the podcast that brings you sage advice from two technology experts. And that's not just what we call ourselves, it's what our moms tell people when any relative needs help doing any menial task involving something that plugs into a power outlet. I'm your host, Luke Miani.
And I'm your host, Noah Rubin. On this show, we take questions from listeners, attempt to answer them to varying degrees of success, and maybe even have a laugh or two along the way.
Today, we got to get serious, Noah.
No laughs?
No laughs.
Oh, man.
And not along the way either.
No, not even at the end. What about at the end? The very end?
No.
No.
I thought about it.
We're that serious.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we alluded to this very briefly in the pre-show. But sometimes Apple likes to, they try to do too much. Okay. I had this experience today. I was trying to restore an iPhone. Simple task. Old iPhone, granted. But the ironic thing is, if you have an old iPhone that you want to restore, you almost exclusively have to use iTunes on Windows to do it. Because on the Mac, they try to make it all polished and clean, which actually breaks it completely. Like, we don't have to get into this too much. This is just my opening example, my way of opening the doors into this realm of conversation, if you will. But if you try to restore an old phone for a multitude of reasons, it doesn't work on OS 10. even if you have like a completely air gapped computer with a fresh install, the correct version of iTunes, the correct IPSW already downloaded. No, what what iTunes likes to do on OS 10 is every single thing that it wants to do, it wants to just connect to a server and download it because it always wants the most updated of everything. But the problem is, if you want to intentionally do something outdated, it doesn't like that. And this is just one very small example, a very small one of how Apple can just they're like a helicopter parent. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
They're trying to do everything for you. How are we to learn? How are we to experiment if Apple is over here meddling, trying to do everything for us? And what if we just don't want to do what they want us to do?
I think on this show, we give that we provide sage advice from two technology experts, right? And I think
Right.
part of the reason why we need to do that is, to your point, Apple tries to do so much for its users, doesn't give them the opportunity to learn and grow. And so if they don't learn on their own, where are they going to get the sage advice from? Where are they going to learn all of these things? We have to give it to them. So in a way, it
Exactly.
almost keeps us in business, but for the greater
Well,
good of humanity, it would be nice
it
if
keeps
Apple
us
could help us out.
it keeps us in business almost, if not for the fact that we make no money from this.
Well, when I say in business, I mean in the colloquial, idiom way,
It
not in the way of
keeps
making money. I would
it
never
gives
want
us
to imply.
purpose.
I would never imply that we make money on this show.
I would never imply that we're profitable in any way. Even doing a
Not.
live event.
I was about to say, like, even when we expand, like, the show itself, absolutely not. But even when we expand beyond the show, anything affiliated with this show does not make money. Period. I think if we tried to do merch, we would lose money too. Just
Somehow,
somehow.
we would find a way. It's kind of
Absolutely.
ironic because I think both of us are pretty good at a number of things. I'm pretty good at making YouTube videos. You're pretty good at coding
Yeah.
and software engineering. That's great. One thing, we're not good at podcasting. We're terrible at it, in fact.
Yeah. Pretty bad.
Every single week, almost exactly, we have 126 live viewers. I'm pretty sure it's the same people every single week. Have we grown the podcast in 88 episodes? Not one single bit. Have we made $1 on it? No, we've lost several, as a matter of fact.
But these people, they come. A lot of them come every week to see it, and we love them for it.
We love them for it. And, sometimes I think this is what's known in the biz as a loss leader.
Right. I mean, normally that would imply it's a thing that loses the company money so that other things, like, it entices them into the store so that other things
Right.
can happen. I wonder how many new people this podcast has reached that have then gone onto your channel. I feel like it might be the other way around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I don't think it's not a loss leader at all. It's just a loss.
Yeah, I think it's just a loss, like
Mm,
the loss of autonomy of Apple users because Apple does too much with their products sometimes.
that was good. That
Thank
was
you.
good. Hell
Thank you
yeah.
very much. Oh yeah.
Wow. And I didn't ruin it at all by pointing it out. That's the best part.
At all.
All. Dude, isn't it coming out in 2 days?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you should leave season 3 in 2 days. Boy, am I excited. Are you watching it beforehand, or are we watching it together before the show or
I
after
was
the
gonna
show?
I was gonna wait for you guys to
Okay,
come,
good,
right?
because I'm also gonna wait.
Yeah. We all have to wait.
Okay. I'm texting Sam and John because that's gonna be our reward for finishing the show. We're gonna do the live show, and then we get to watch I Think You Should Leave.
Yes. Good. We don't even have to do a good job. The show could go horribly, but as long as it gets done, then
Exactly.
we're done. We get to watch it.
Exactly. The show is called our quote, so like we have to get that show even if we do a bad job. So if we get just one more show, they have to give us that other 2 mil.
Yeah.
Did you get there? Did you get the reference?
I'm not sure.
Oh, come on. That's Detective Crashmore.
What was
From
that?
I Think You Should Leave.
Wait, I don't know if I remember that one.
Oh, you're a fake fan. You're a fake fan.
I guess so.
People in the chat are going to get that reference. People listening to this are going to get that reference and they're going to email me and they're going to say, Luke, you're good. You're a good guy. That Noah guy, he's like not a real person, kind of.
Yeah, I'm sure people are going to you can send me those emails when you get them.
Yeah, I will. But you know what I will also send you
What?
verbally is my thoughts on Apple overstepping and how I'm concerned that will have an impact on the new headset. Look at that. I brought it back.
Very good. Please. We're bringing it. We're going all different places and we're bringing it back. Let's keep, maybe we can keep it here this time.
Yeah. So here's the deal. I think the best example for what concerns me slightly is AirPods. AirPods are a great example of something that you don't interact with all that much directly, right? It doesn't have a UI or many buttons or anything. So a lot of the usability of AirPods is down to the way Apple has them programmed to figure out what you're doing and guess what they should do. And on paper, / if it worked, that would be great. Like, for example, device switching. That is a cool idea on paper. However, the way that it's implemented makes me want to set my head on fire. Literally set my head on fire. It really, really bothers me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, so I don't have AirPods Max, and when I have my AirPods Pro, the vast majority of the time they're connected to my phone. So I don't have a ton of issues with this, but there have been a few times where I'm like, if I'm like on my phone and I'm listening to music and I pause it for a second and then I touch my iPad, it switches over to the iPad, which like I get the idea, but it's like I pause my music for a second and switch over to the iPad. I got to go back on the phone, switch it over to the phone, play the music, whatever. It happens sometimes. It's annoying. And I'm sure for you, it's a lot worse because you probably run into it a lot more often than I do.
Yeah, to be quite fair, Noah, I think my lifestyle kind of stretches the capabilities of Apple's software. And I'm not even joking. I'm not trying to like brag or sound like I have like a lot of Apple products and that makes me cool. It doesn't. You think people come over to my house and see a pile of MacBooks and iPhones and vintage stuff and they think that guy's cool? No, they don't think that at all. They think that guy's a crazy person who should go to an insane asylum for many years. But what happens is there's too much going on, all right? And I've descended into utter chaos, complete mayhem, I would say. It's utter bedlam here in my abode because when I get a FaceTime call, you would think that my apartment is on fire. You would think that. Yes, you would. Because there is so much crap just going like everywhere. Every room, bathroom, there's something in there that's ringing. I guarantee it.
We don't know what it is, but there's something hiding.
No one knows. No one could possibly tell you where. It could be under the toilet. It could be in the shower. It's who even knows, but there's something in there. I don't know how it's still charged, but it's still ringing. it actually, and the worst part is because there's so much stuff going on that when I actually answer the call, the first 5 seconds of the call, everything's still ringing, and the people on the call hear it.
Yeah, I've heard that before, where you answer and there's it's still going in the background.
I don't even know what to do anymore. And the device switching. Oh, the device switching, because for the longest time, when my girlfriend's working on something, she's like, "Hey, can I borrow your Mac for a second screen?" Sure, great, very cool. This has happened while we've been doing the podcast, by the way. She's watching like a video, and my AirPods, actively in use, are like, you know what? Let's switch. And then she can't hear anything. She starts turning up the volume. My eardrums are completely blasted into next Tuesday. I can't hear anything.
No.
Hearing is gone. I'm deaf at age 24. And you start coming out of the speakers instead.
That's
it
a
happens
nightmare.
so much.
Oh,
it is. I live in a
no.
nightmare.
Yikes. Too many Apple products. Too much stuff going on. I don't know. I couldn't live
You
like
can
that.
have too much of a good thing. You can. So yeah, I mean, it's honestly hard to tell at this point which of these things is an Apple problem and which of these things is a me problem, because I've got too much stuff going on. I mean, my iCloud device list takes a very it's a substantial amount of scrolling to get to the bottom of it.
I would imagine.
And I don't even know if some of these things aren't even. Oh no. No, all of these things are even here. In fact, I think this device list is missing a couple things. Oh, jeez.
I mean, you've even got plenty of pre-iCloud stuff in your apartment too.
Yeah, that stuff honestly is my favorite. Anything, because iCloud is it's just in sheer panic. When something signs into my Apple ID, the iCloud is just like, oh God, not another one. Please just let me rest.
I think they programmed it to handle a certain number of devices, and then beyond that, there's like some guy at Apple who's like, you sign in on another device, he's like, oh God, like this guy now has to keep track of that device, and he like writes it down on a piece of paper, and he's like running around. I think that's what happens after a certain point.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you turn on AirDrop in my apartment, good luck, buddy. It says Luke Miani about 18 times. I don't know which is which. I'll sit here. I'm trying to get footage off my phone, and I start tapping stuff, and I hear like AirDrop sounds all around me until eventually it gets to my correct Mac Studio.
Does that give you flashbacks to the war?
Oh, it does. Absolutely. It's like hearing little bombs dropping all around me. It's terrifying.
Yeah, they're all airdropping around you.
And if you went on Find My, you'd probably think I'm running like a criminal smuggling organization here. It's like a massive hotspot on the map.
You probably supply like at least 1% of all Find My data from between all your devices, constantly like pinging each other,
Yeah.
and like sending each other's locations. Apple probably has a dedicated server in DC, like co-located with your apartment, just to handle all that traffic.
Yeah, I will say though, if you lose your phone near my apartment, you will find it, because there is a lot. It will be able to get millimeter perfect information on where your phone is, because it's got so much data to go on.
Yeah, it can like not just triangulate it like 3 points. It can like 50 angulate it. That's the word, by the way.
Quindicangulate.
That's the word.
There we go. That's great.
Yeah.
No, it's I really do push the limits of it, but when it comes to AirPods, if I may circle us back around. Also, I have to apologize because we've just provided multiple laughs along the way.
We're not being serious. We were supposed to be serious.
Yeah, I know. I feel really bad because we kind of primed everyone with that, and then we messed up, and I'll take full accountability. It was entirely Noah's fault.
Oh, so you're taking accountability to
Yeah.
give me full accountability.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
we're
I
doing it
have the
again.
responsibility to give you the blame.
No, no. See, we're doing it again.
Oh
We
man.
need to take a 1 second to reset, and then we're gonna be
Okay. Okay.
serious.
All right.
Okay.
So AirPods Pro have, well, all AirPods really have this very frustrating quirk. I mean, honestly, most of the features of AirPods bother me. Like,
Hmm.
for real, I disable almost all of them. Let me go on my phone here, which is dangerous. If just me picking this up, look, it's already picked up. Oh, it's gone now. It already had the little AirPods Max. Oh, there they are. Look, I have mine named ShitPods Max.
Oh, nice.
Oh, and by the way, I should point this out since we're talking about how I overload iCloud. Every single device that I have says get ready for your new whatever it is constantly.
Oh, jeez.
It's bad. It's bad. But okay, so if I go, so here's the thing. Here's the thing about ShitPods Max, okay? They have their main features are, well, you get the automatic head detection, right? You've got the pause thing, and you've got device switching. All of those suck. Even if you only have an iPhone, a Mac, an AirPods Pro, you're not stressing out that iCloud device network. Even with just that, I really, really despise the way that AirPods device switch, because we've already talked about, Noah, how you're using something, audio's coming out of it, you use something else and it switches and you're like, I didn't want that. I don't want to hear the sound from this. That's all well and good. What really kills me is that it doesn't switch back. Have you ever had the AirPods switch back? I haven't.
No, no, it doesn't do that.
So, and forgive me, I might be doing something wrong, but it really shouldn't be this difficult. When you're on your Mac and you use your phone or your iPod and it switches away, what do you personally do to get the AirPods back to what you originally had them?
I think sometimes on my phone, I think a little bubble thing comes down from the top, and it's like your AirPods switched over to somewhere else, and you can tap a one button to switch them back. Sometimes it does that. Sometimes I got to go into Control Center. I got to tap on the little source icon in the corner, and I got to tap on my AirPods again, and I got to wait for them to reconnect. So usually that's what I do.
Interesting. See, quite honestly, given that I'm still using Monterey on my Mac, that might, I'm not going to say that I don't want to make a judgment for AirPods as a whole because I might not be doing things correctly. But on this Mac, at least, the way that it always works is basically it switches to my phone. I go into the Bluetooth device tree on the Mac. The AirPods Max, even though it's connected to my phone, still show as connected to the Mac. So you have to click it to disconnect and then click it again to reconnect them. And that's basically what I have to do every time.
That is annoying, and it sounds like a bug, but I'll bet that there's some like Apple reason, like, oh, they're still
Right.
technically connected to your Mac, but
Yep.
because it switched over, whatever, but it's like confusing.
Yeah, like, and I get that, right? If it's still technically connected to the Mac, that's fine, but just give me a way to bring it back.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, if you click on it, it disconnects it, which is not necessary because it's already not connected in a way. I I just don't understand why they don't have. Honestly, they should put an action button on the AirPods that is programmable, and you can make it be like a switch back button.
So like a you messed up button. So whenever it does something
Yeah.
wrong, bad switch, whatever, you hit that, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Luke, and then it undoes whatever it just did.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. You know what? It's gotta be. I mean, I think they can connect to multiple devices at a time because on my phone it's showing as being connected.
Hmm.
So, like, what would happen if I open up? Let's say, let's see what happens. Like, we're having a conversation. I'm clearly doing something over here. I open
Right.
up the YouTube app. Oh, look at that. Who are those handsome
Oh.
gentlemen? Look at
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Wow. Let's click that.
Okay.
Let's see if it's going to. Okay. Fair enough. It stayed on the Mac. It this is weird because I don't know how to replicate it. That's the other thing that kills me is it's not consistent. You know, like
Mm.
sometimes, frequently it happens with Twitter. Weirdly enough, like without even playing audio, just like the videos that autoplay in the timeline, they don't play sound, but they always switch over my AirPods or pause my music. Have you ever noticed that? You're listening to
Mm.
music, you pull up Twitter, it pauses it, even if there's no audio playing in Twitter.
Oh, I hate that happens all the time. Like Twitter and like some other apps, the Netflix app does it too. Even if you literally
Oh,
opening the app, and I don't even watch Netflix on my phone. I use the app to just browse the catalog sometimes. But when you open the Netflix app, it immediately pauses the music, even if you never play audio out of it. I hate when apps do that. It kills me.
yeah. Honestly, dude, I that's another good example of this. It's like Apple is deciding what you can and cannot do. Personally, if I had a toggle switch in system preferences where I could disable music pausing when other audio sources are found, I would. I would literally have my song just keep going no matter what happens. Okay, except for if someone calls you, right? That fine, that makes sense. But like if I'm playing music, I should be able to open Twitter and even watch a Twitter video. And I want my music to just keep plowing on ahead like nothing's happening. I personally find it like if the option is this current behavior or I go in and manually pause my video, pause my music before I do something, I would do that. 100%.
Yeah, I agree. I do wish that they gave I don't know. I don't want to derail it too much, but like another thing is if you try to listen to music while using the microphone at the same time, it degrades the audio quality to like a hilarious
Yes.
level. Like it sounds like you're listening to your music through the phone. And like, I feel like I mentioned this a long time
Why?
ago, but to this day, it's still a problem and it annoys me so much.
That has to be a bug, right? Like I cannot think of a single logical reason that that would be a thing.
There's something wrong where it like I don't know, it like puts both audio channels in the same like stream and then it just I don't know, it
Mm.
just makes it it's so bad. I don't know why it does that.
Golly. All of this gives me some reason to be worried because I think see, we're talking about devices that you interact with your fingers, right? You touch a Mac, you touch a phone. What worries me is that with the headset coming up, I think that there are going to be a lot of features on there that you would want to basically be intuitive. You would want a lot of those to be like if you're using the headset, I think gestures, voice commands are going to be I mean, there I guess it's the only way to interact with it, really, which means that there's going to have to be a lot of Apple interpreting what you want And given how Apple handles AirPods, given how they handle Siri, I don't think I trust them. Apple is great at doing a lot of stuff, right? I love macOS. I love iOS. I love the iPhone. I love the Mac. I love the Apple Watch. But when it comes to these generative intelligence features where it's relying on some sort of an algorithm to determine what you want, they always determine it wrong. I don't know how they do it, but they always make the wrong call. Whichever device it switches to, without fail, is the one that I don't want audio from. I have never once in my entire life had AirPods switch when I wanted them to. How do you even? That's almost impressive.
Yeah, it's like if it just guessed randomly if it should switch or not, it would do a
Yeah,
better job.
seriously. Oh,
Yeah, but that's a good point because, like, as far as the headset is concerned, like, again, so much stuff we don't know. We don't know how you're going to interact with it. There might be some sort of interaction. Maybe if you have an iPhone, in the same way that like you need an iPhone for the Apple Watch, maybe you need an iPhone to use the headset. I don't know. Even then, like you need an iPhone to use the Apple Watch, but you don't interact with your Apple Watch on your iPhone, except maybe if you want to, make a watch face, but like, or manage the settings. That's basically it. I don't know. They could do like a full on remote, like how there's the Apple TV remote in the iPhone. They could do a full on headset remote. Maybe that's an option. I don't know. But there's got to be, even if it is or it isn't, there has to be some way for you to interact directly with this thing without needing to have some other device. And like if you have this on, yeah, and you have like your remote on a phone screen, can you even see the phone screen? Like, is that, I don't know. There has to be some way, some sort of gestures or voice command, or maybe there's some buttons on the side, but there can't be that many. There has to be some way to interact with it. And I agree that I'm very curious to see what they do and like what kind of guesswork they'll have to do to make those things work.
yeah, I'm nervous. I'm actually legitimately nervous because I don't think dude, I honestly don't think I trust Apple to do it right. Like, I don't think I mean, first of all, it's a difficult thing to do, right? You have to be able to guess what somebody wants to do with a wide range of functions on the headset. It has whatever way you slice it, there's not going to be a keyboard on that thing. There's not going to be a touch screen on that thing. So you're going to need some way for an algorithm to determine what you want. And given that they can't determine which audio source you want, like these are really simple, basic things by comparison. Yeesh.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how is it going to be like a Siri powered voice
Mhm.
activated where you're like, okay, or like you're like, hey Siri, open the TV app or open Netflix or whatever. That doesn't seem like a very great experience because we know how we feel about Siri. And then it's
I
like,
just imagined having to say that for like 78 times a day, and I just had like a crisis.
yeah, like there's no way like you're just sitting in your room like someone peeks in your doorway. You're sitting in your room, you're like, "Hey Siri, open the app." No, not that one. Open the other one. Like, oh god, just like talking to yourself, like getting mad at yourself because it's not that would not I feel like that would not be a good experience.
Yeah, I have to I cannot imagine that this headset is going to be cool. Everyone wears AirPods around. Everyone wears not wears iPhones. Everyone carries iPhones. Everyone wears Apple Watches. I feel like you can make Apple products cool in many cases, but I don't see a headset existing, future, Apple, not Apple, being cool until it's like a pair of glasses. And even then, it's probably not going to be cool.
Yeah, I feel like I don't I feel like the for a long time, as long as it's like goggles, as long as you're putting screens in front of your face, I feel like that's
Yeah.
the big differentiator. Talking about something like Google
True.
Glass, as much as it may look kind of goofy, at the end of the day, you can see the person's eyes, like actually see their real eyes, and like they're actually looking out into the world. I'm not saying Google Glass like is the future or anything, because obviously it's not, but something like that, as opposed to, if you're as long as you're putting goggles on your head that like obscure your vision, even if they do pass through. I don't know. I can't imagine. Like, imagine you're walking down the street, you look over, and there's someone like walking along with like almost like they're wearing ski goggles, and like maybe you can see their eyes, but like it's not actually their eyes. It's like a screen. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Or like that they can see the real world because there's cameras,
Right.
piping in the world. But like, I don't know. I just can't imagine walking around with something like that on.
Yeah, I I refuse to believe that that is remotely what Apple is planning. For what we know of this device being like a visor in front of your eyes, there's no way that it's going to be used outside of the home. And that already makes it a tough sell. Like, this is, I know we've talked about the headset a lot, but I think it's because this is such a weird time to be in the Apple news space, because we alluded to this before. Like, I have no earthly clue how they're going to position this. When you talk about like the most recent new product was the Apple Watch, arguably AirPods as well. But both of those, it's like, okay, it's a thing you put on your wrist, and it does stuff. You get notifications, you track some health data. That's what the Apple Watch is. That's what the rumors were. Like, makes sense. AirPods, okay, they're wireless headphones. That's what the rumors were. That's what they are. The headset, we don't know a darn thing, except for the fact that like there's no way around the fact that you're going to be sitting in your house with a thing on your face going like this. Like, I don't see a way around that.
Yeah, it's so weird that that, and I think that's why, like you said, it's why we keep talking about it, because there's like literally every aspect of it is a question. Like, we really don't, we can make some very basic guesses of like, you can watch an Apple TV show on it. You can like,
Hmm.
maybe it'll work with your AirPods, whatever. Like, you can make these very basic guesses about it, but like beyond that, we really don't know. And it's like there haven't really been any leaks in terms of like the actual headset. There have been leaks about like the process, the fact that it's going to be coming out, the fact that people have seen it, whatever. But like, as far as like what it looks like, how it works, how the software functions, all that stuff, they really haven't. And I guess it's because it's too early. It's not actually in the pipeline. It's not actually being assembled and built, which is where a lot of the leaks come from. But it's like we don't have the leaks. The leaks aren't there for us to fully understand what's going on.
CCRP them.
Exactly, right? There's no what's it called? Repetition. Repetition is the one.
Yep.
There's no repetition because there's no real leaks going on. And then even beyond that, like, we don't have the leaks, but we don't even know like where to start thinking about it. Like, there's no, like, in the way that the
Yeah.
Apple Watch and the AirPods were kind of obvious, I feel like this really isn't for Apple. It really isn't.
Should we go through and recap where we are in terms of the leaks on this? Because I think, given that we're a week out, I think it would make sense to take a step back. I'm trying to find, there was one article that came out a couple months ago that really went into a lot of detail,
Hmm.
and I'm trying to find what that was. We do here. Let's start with the Mac rumors like roundup. I do like these because they kind of give you a summary of where things stand at the moment. So, the at a glance here, We have mixed reality capabilities, 4K micro OLED displays, eye and gesture tracking, external battery pack, powered by M series chips, prescription lenses available, XROS operating system. Those are, in some ways, detailed rumors, and in other ways, not at all detailed rumors. First of all, there's this picture here at the top. This render done by Ian is probably the most used render that has ever been made. I have seen this render probably a billion times.
Oh yeah, that thing is like that's so funny. That was probably just like another like oh another like the like another thing for him like oh I got to make a render of this thing and then this just like took off and it's because it's been so long it's been in development for so long there's been like so much time for people to talk about it and then every time they talk about it they just use that render because there's no actual pictures and it just goes around forever.
It goes around and around. We don't even know if this is what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Like I think that this wasn't it's not a concept is my understanding. I don't think Ian made it as like a this is what it could look like. I think it is an informed render.
Hmm.
But it's also 2 years old. So it's obviously not based on a final design because as we know, a lot of things change. I leaked that the M1 Pro MacBook Pro would have a backlit Touch ID sensor. And at one point it did. I am very confident about that, but something changed and then they decided not to do it. So I think it is extremely possible that the headset is not going to look anything like this, especially since we know, or at least we have a fair amount of CCRP that there's going to be an external battery pack. And
Yeah.
that, like, yeah, I think that changes how this could potentially look. I mean, when you do look at this, there's not really a ton of space inside where batteries could be. I I struggle to see how this would work realistically, given that like a lot of the definition here behind that aluminum, that's all like padding for the eyes. And in
Right.
a practical sense, like it's not formed to the nose. I don't think that would actually fit on your head. Again, this is a render meant to show like a general design. So would it actually look like this? Probably. I think it would likely be very different.
Yeah, hard to say. I'm really
Mm.
curious. I mean, there's a lot of we'll go through all these leaks and rumors. I'm curious about like obviously there's no talk, there's no in the image you're saying like, where's the battery go? I guess this article is talking about some sort of an external battery pack. Are you going to have a wire dangling from your headset down into your pocket or your waist belt? Is that how it's going to work?
I think so. I mean, we've heard this now multiple times. CCRP is very strong, but Gurman here is saying that it has two ports, USB-C for data transfer, and a magnetic port, probably MagSafe, to attach the battery pack, which it says so he apparently it resembles a MagSafe battery pack, so it's small. I don't think it would be enormous. And they say it will provide about 2 hours of battery life. That doesn't seem like a lot. And
Yeah.
and they also say the downside is that it requires an ungainly wire trailing out of the headset during use, which would be attached magnetically. So that sounds like a recipe for disaster. I personally think that there has to be some sort of internal battery. I do not believe. I simply refuse to accept that this external battery would be required for use and that it wouldn't have an internal one because if it's magnetically attached with the wire hanging off of you and you're in mixed reality, you're gonna like hit it and pop off that magnet, and then it what just shuts down completely in the middle of whatever you're doing. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I'm reading a little further. So apparently the rumor is that it's not MagSafe and it's some kind of cable that like locks into place, which also sounds horrible because if you accidentally like hit the cable or like tug on it or like move whatever, like
It's gonna like
it's
yank
gonna
off your head.
yeah, it's gonna yank the headset off or it's gonna like yank the battery pack out of your pocket or like they can't. That's like, are they really gonna do that? I don't want
That
that.
sounds like a terrible experience.
Yeah.
Like, and dude, it just none of this is really adding up here because they say 2 hours per pack. Hardcore headset users will need to carry multiple battery packs on their person and switch them out. What, dude? Apple's whole thing is polish. That sounds like the least polished use case that I could possibly imagine.
Yeah, and then it says the battery pack and the cable is one piece, not separable. And the cable is that
What?
proprietary magnetic connector. So how are you going to charge the battery packs? You need a custom like magnetic thing to wall outlet, which Apple doesn't include power adapters with their products, well, with their laptops. Are they going to make a custom like wall thing for you to charge these batteries and you charge them one at a time? That that sounds horrible.
Also, can we talk about this? It says a USB-C port for data transfer. So, so, dude, it hurts my brain because when you actually like, I feel like we see these rumors, but when you think about them, it gets utterly bananas. It gets bonkers. So think about it this way. Let's say you're using it in conjunction with a Mac. If there's some amount of data transfer going into it, then you have to imagine that that's so you plug the USB-C cable into your Mac. Maybe that like allows it to connect to the Mac and do like a an extended display type of thing over USB-C. But then if that has to be able to power it, right? It simply must get power over USB-C. Otherwise, you have a USB-C cable coming out of your head, and then you have a magnetic cable coming out of your head going to a battery pack, which the battery pack needs to charge. So that needs to have USB-C or MagSafe. So like it dude, I don't know. I don't know that I don't I don't know of a way to square this with reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that just I don't know. All of this sounds so weird. And like, does it need to be like what if you're sitting at your desk and using this for the extended display that theoretically will be a feature? Is there not a way for you to plug the headset into the wall or plug it into some continuous power source so that it doesn't drain the batteries? There's got to be a way to do that. If not by USB-C, power over USB-C, there's got to be some. I don't know. You can't just be swapping out battery packs all day long. That seems kind of crazy.
Hmm.
It's going to come
Yeah,
with
there
more
has
than
to
one
be another
battery
way.
pack?
It better. Oh, it had better. For the price tag that we've been hearing, it had better come with 3 or 4.
That
It's going to be an
can you
interesting
imagine that?
unboxing.
Can you imagine getting an Apple product and it's like you unbox it and you get your headset and then here's your 4 little battery packs in there? Apple, that's not Apple. There's no way.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, there's no way.
Dude, I like just imagining you take it out, you've got a USB-C to C cable, you've got this weird goofy thing. And dude, wait, all the battery packs have the cable attached. So they're like in these like little pouches with the with the cable wired into it. And there's like 3 of them.
I'm just
That
dude, I'm literally picturing the like the MagSafe battery pack with like a big old cable like looping off of it. Like I'm like you're shaking it around, this little cable's looping around. Like,
Mhm.
that's so goofy.
Oh, no. Also, think about it this way. If you do I personally believe that it'll do the display extending stuff wirelessly. I feel like that it just has to, in the same way that like the screens are gonna have to be ProMotion, right? There's no way that they're gonna be 60 hertz. That would make you dizzy. So
Yeah.
like it's gotta have that. And it simply has to be able to do display out wirelessly. Maybe you can plug your battery pack into the computer to keep that charged and keep it running for longer, because otherwise like if you're plugged in directly, then you wouldn't be able to go anywhere. If you're plugging into like an iMac or a MacBook, you're basically tethered to it like a dog outside a coffee shop. You have to take the whole headset off if you wanted to get a glass of water. That sounds
Yeah.
terrible. And this is all very basic like usability stuff before we even get back. We have to combine this, Noah, with what we were saying earlier about the gestures and device switching. Like, what happens if you're connected to your Mac, you look at your phone, and then it's like, oh, now I'm gonna do phone stuff. Now I'm gonna extend your phone screen. I'm like, no, I don't want that. Go back.
Yeah. How's that experience gonna yeah, I don't there's so much. We can talk about the hardware all day. We can talk about the
Yeah.
software all day, the integration all day. Literally anything you could talk about all day and we don't know.
I will tell you one thing though. I think there is a potential for this headset to be really, really powerful if they do. Okay, so we know that augmented reality is a big part of this. And obviously, that means that Apple has spent a lot of time making it so that you don't feel like you're looking at a video feed of the world around you, right? Eye tracking, head tracking. That means you're going to have realistic enough parallax that it doesn't look like you're looking at a screen. Um, and so that's obviously a very big part of this. And so I think one way one way that you could make this headset feel more integrated and not have to do everything on the headset would be to have it use your existing devices as an anchor point. And like, here's what I'm imagining. Let's say you have the headset on, your phone becomes a more detailed control pad, and it can have information floating around it. Like, what if you have the headset on and all of a sudden, instead of having picture in picture, you're using your phone, it can pop the video out into its own floating thing, and sort of using the headset and the phone in tandem. So you're not relying on the headset to control that. You're still using your phone, and the headset is working on the display aspect. Same thing with the Mac. Like, imagine having screen elements not confined to a screen. That, I think, is where there's a lot of potential in this.
Imagine if you were like on your Mac and moving the mouse around and you could move the mouse beyond the screen.
Yes, dude.
Or like you're on your phone and you can tap beyond the screen to interact with things. That would be
Yes.
cool. That would be
That's
cool.
exactly what I'm getting at. Like,
Yeah.
imagine we already have devices that can give you virtual monitors. But what if with the headset, you don't need the monitor? You have one screen in the middle, you take a window, you pull it out of your screen and just have it in the room. locked to position so you can have them like surrounding you, but you can just have different windows and contextual buttons in three-dimensional space outside of the bounds of your monitor. That is where I think there is a potential. Now, it's going to take a while to get it to be like, this futuristic movie type of scenario where everything is just like fluid perfect all around you, and where they like have a hologram in the middle and they're like, "Oh yeah, see the crime, it's happening over here," and they zoom in like that, and all of that stuff obviously is a long way off. But I think it's not I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that someday we will not need to rely on monitors for looking at all of this information. We're so used to, for the entire history of the computer, having a screen with an end, with borders. How big of a screen do you want? How much space do you want? That's been a thing the entire time that computers have been around. But with the headset, with augmented reality, we're starting to get into that point of technology where you can have, that thing in your hand, a tiny little puck that expands into this like larger virtual hologram type of thing. Like that. This is the hologram. It's starting.
Yeah, and I think like probably the way we'll see it initially is something similar to like Sidecar. So it probably will
Right.
just be, you know, a second monitor next to it. It would be cool if they could do it like right on the edge of the screen, right on the bezel, so that it almost looks like you have a really
Mm,
big screen and not like multiple separate ones. I don't know if they want to do it like that or make it clear that they're separate. Probably, it could start like a, virtual screens kind of thing, and you can have your, your one mouse or trackpad. You move it around, it moves between the screens. Eventually, yeah, I think things can get further. We can get further away. One way to think about it is you can have a bunch of different screens and place them all over the place, whatever. Another way you could think about it is forget the idea of a screen and you just say, like, imagine if the entire world were your screen. So you have like,
right.
your little dock is like always visible, or maybe not always visible, but like you can bring up your dock and it kind of shows up in your vision, and you just take a window and you stick a window over here, you stick a window over here, and you're not even thinking about like multiple screens and like workspaces and whatever, but it's really just your entire vision, and you're just like taking little windows and moving them around, or maybe not even windows, but they're like little widgets and contextual things, whatever, and you just put them all over the place. It'd be cool.
That would be really cool. That dude, and that could be like, you could completely revitalize HomeKit at that point, because you could have, dude, imagine this. The home screen, but instead of it being different apps on your home on your phone, they're like digital things that are controlling physical things like a light switch, but it's virtual. Like it stays in one place, but it's a virtual switch.
There's a lot of cool things that, and I think that this stuff will happen, maybe not immediately, but eventually. But like, what's it going to be at first?
Yeah,
They're starting from nothing, right? I mean,
right.
whatever, the technologies, they have some technologies, but like as far as the hardware and like the package is concerned, they're starting from nothing. So it's like, where are they going to focus first? What are they going to do first? What are they going to do later? I don't know.
And I think here's the thing that's interesting is your point about Sidecar. That that to me is a given, right? It's going to have something with that style of feature. But when you think about the price that this thing is supposedly going to be at, that in Apple land sets an expectation, you know? When the Apple Watch first launched at $500, they were close to it not being a success because of how expensive it was. We're at you could buy the nicest iPhone, the nicest MacBook, AirPods, and an iPad, and you're still not even at the starting price of this thing. So that means that it has to have something to justify that price. Apple knows that. You know, everyone jokes about how overpriced and expensive it is. Yeah, we get it. It's expensive. But they understand that people are not going to buy this thing if it's just sidecar and, you know, it gives you a home theater and you can watch Apple TV shows in Dolby Atmos and it looks like you're in a movie theater. Cool. It's they're not going to buy it if it's like, "Oh, you can do FaceTime but like with a virtual representation of your friend in a virtual room." No. That's not going to be worth $4,000. Apple understands that they need to make it an absolutely incredible and powerful tool, not just for like those simple things. There's going to have to be some connection to like developing Final Cut Pro, Pro apps. They need to have like those are the people that are going to buy this, right? It has to have some. I can't even imagine what it is, but it has to.
Yeah, and it's not just because of the price, right? The price is a big
Right.
factor. If they're going to make something this expensive, it has to be worth it. And like I get, people said in the chat like the bill of materials is going to be very expensive. We know there's going to be a lot of high-end hardware in this, whatever. But at the end of the day, it I don't know. It's like you compare it, it's not going to do things that other VR headsets do. If you compare it to like VR, not that it's a VR headset, but if you compare it to like the closest things on the market, they're about gaming. Primarily, they're about gaming. There's some that are like enterprise specific, and Apple's, that's not what we're really talking about here. We're talking about gaming. This thing's not going to do
Mhm.
that. It's going to have to do something, right? But it's not even just about the price. This is like Apple's first foray, right? It's their first time unveiling this thing that they've worked on for a long time. It's Tim Cook's legacy, probably the last major product that he'll launch as CEO, or at least the biggest product that he'll launch as
Mm.
CEO. All of these things, it has to make a big impact. And it can't just be like, here's this headset. It does, watch Apple TV and screens, and you can edit 3D video in Final Cut, and then other people with the thing can watch
Yeah.
3D video. Sure. It can't just be like, here's a bunch of little things that it does and it's all in this one little headset. There has to be something more for the price and for the moment that they're creating. There has to be something more.
I 100% agree. It just has to. Like there's no debate, there's no discussion. I mean they're gonna sell these things to YouTubers. I have to buy one. No matter what the price is, it's gonna have to happen. But if they want to actually sell these things and have them actually be useful, they need that killer feature, that wow factor. And I I'm excited and nervous because we legitimately we can speculate all we want, but there is absolutely no way that we could know. And that is the most exciting thing about this WWDC. We are going into it almost blind. Despite how many rumors there are about this thing, none of them get anywhere near the specificity that would be enough to give you an idea of what it's like to use. And I think that's a really, really cool thing to be a part of. And if you think that that's cool too, then you should definitely come to Genius Bar Goes Dark. The next day, we are just 10 days away from Genius Bar Goes Dark, where you can come meet us in person and go over all of this stuff that Apple talked about at WWDC, which is a week away. I can't believe that we're this close. It is so unbelievably exciting. We've actually sold out of all our VIP tickets, so sorry about that. But we're still lots of audience interaction. You will still get to meet us if you get a normal ticket. It's this is going to be a WWDC and an event for the ages. This is going to be stuff that we're all talking about 10 years from now, being like, I can't believe that we held a live event the day after the iPhone 2.0 came out. That's crazy.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, hopefully y'all could tell from watching like just how excited we are about like talking about this headset and just how excited we are.
Yeah.
Imagine how exciting it's going to be when this thing is like actually announced and we have the details. Obviously, we won't have all the details, but we'll have so much more to have this whole other level of discussion of like, here's the stuff we know, and then what can we take from that? It's going to be a whole other, like the whole next level of the discussion. We're going to be so excited. We're already so excited. We're going to be even more excited. And just doing it in person at this event is going to be just, oh man, it's going to be so awesome. It's going to be
Dude,
so
this
cool.
week, this weekend especially, it's really been hitting me what we're about to experience.
It's hitting me right now. Like just after having
Yeah.
this conversation, like
Yeah.
it's a week and it's a week and a day, or like a week and half a day. What, like, oh, it's so close. You're gonna be here. We're gonna be doing live. You're gonna be here live. We're gonna stream dub live. I guess we'll probably, depending on when you get in, maybe next week's podcast will be live in person. I don't
Oh yeah,
know.
it
You
will.
know, yes, live in person next week. Hype
Yep.
episode, streaming the next day, event the day after that. Oh, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be fun.
Dude. Oh man. You are going to see a lot of us next week. I hope you guys are as excited as we are. I suspect that a lot of the naysayers and the doubters who aren't excited by the headset will change their mind. I personally am a big believer in it, even though we talked a lot of skepticism today. I personally am really, really, I can't even describe it. I think it's going to be one of the most exciting things to experience as tech enthusiasts. We get to
Yeah.
watch the iPhone unveil in modern times.
Yeah, and like even if you're sitting here and you know you're not going to buy it and you're laughing at it and you're like, I would never pay $3,000,
Mhm.
$4,000. I wouldn't even pay $1,000 for this thing. That's ridiculous. Even if you have that mindset, it's still going to be exciting to see it happen and like see the future trajectory that Apple's going to go in. Maybe you don't buy this one, maybe a couple years from now when it's, even better and maybe less expensive, or there's another
Mhm.
option, then you go for that. But you're seeing it's that iPhone moment, just like you said. And even if you're not going to buy it, even if you have no intention of buying it, just like seeing it happen and learning the details is going to be exciting.
I'm getting butterflies, Noah. It's so soon. We're going over time here because of our excitement is carrying us away. But we got to save it because they're going to see so much of us next week. You've seen enough of us for now. Take a break. I will have at least before the event, I will have at least one video that I think you guys are really going to like. It's not, I'll probably do a rumor recap roundup at some point, but I have a really fun video coming out this week. It's like a very calming retro. You guys are going to love it. It'll be a great thing to tide you over as you're getting excited for a live in-person show next Sunday, live stream during WWDC on Monday, and our live show on Tuesday. That is 3 back-to-back live in-person events.
Oh, yeah.
But that does it for this show. Thank you so much for watching. I'm your host, Luke Miani.
And I'm your host, Noah Rubin. Have a great night.